Okay, so today let's talk about the bad kids in class, right? Last time we talked about classroom demographics, and we were saying that there are three groups of kids in your class: the ones who help themselves, the really good kids; the ones you can help, or the middle group; and then the ones you cannot help, the bad kids. And we talked about the good kids being those they keep their composure, they learn really quickly, they're really good. The middle class, they are those who actually kind of follow through with your lesson. And then if your lesson methodology, your teaching methods are good, you will impact them. The bad group, they're the kids that we're saying that you cannot have any impact on them by yourself. We're going to qualify that. You cannot help them because it's not up to you. Basically, that's the underlying principle. That's the underlying principle when it comes to the bad kids. You cannot do anything by yourself for those kids. Usually, the difficulty is that with these kids, according to my research, you find that there's kind of some similarities with how their home is. You will sometimes find that either that particular kid, it's not the parent who's taking care of that child. Maybe it's a grandmother, grandfather who has no idea, absolutely no idea what it is that goes on in school, who has no idea what the child is supposed to be, how the child is supposed to turn out in terms of being responsible for themselves, who has issues with being able to identify the boundaries and limits which they're supposed to cross or not. Because you know that grandparents, they will give a child, they will give you whatever you want, right? That is one of them. Now you find that sometimes there are parents who are also busy, and that's something that's a trend. Oh, I don't have time to take care of the child. That's also one kind of trend that is with this group of kids. Now, what is it can you do as a teacher if you are faced with this particular thing? First of all, manage your expectations. You need to know that and accept that you cannot do anything for these kids by yourself, especially because it doesn't start with you, it starts at home. One of the common trend with the really good kids is that group, a lot of the work is done by parents from home, and therefore they have a foundation, they have something to stand on, they have some kind of teaching, they have some kind of alerting system, they understand boundaries and all that. But then the bad kids, they do not get all of that. You find that some of the things that a child in the bad group can do, a child in the good group does not do that because they understand certain things. Okay. So to get this going, you need to understand that it doesn't depend on you. There's nothing you can do as a teacher to mitigate some of these things. And therefore, you need to first of all accept that. Second, you need to put in place measures or procedures. First of all, a reporting system concerning how these kids are handled. First of all, you need to let the school know this. Maybe you're not the homeroom teacher, so let's start from the class. You need to let the homeroom teacher know the state of these kids. You need to constantly say, look, teacher, this child is disrespectful. This child does not pay attention in class, and therefore it's affecting their performance. You need to tell the class teacher about what is going on with that child. Secondly, you need to let school administration be aware of what is going on with some of the kids in some of the class. I mean, you don't need to go on about each and every child, but basically or essentially, you need to say that, hey, in every class, in a lot of the classes that I've been to, there's this category of kids, and this is what is happening with them, and this is why, and there's nothing I can do unless we bring parents in to try and support with the child's growth. You need to let the school know that. Why do you need to let the school know that? Let's start with the class teacher. You let the class teacher know that because the class teacher has direct contact with the parents. You let the school know because at the end of the day, when the parents come calling that my kid does not know anything, they've learned for quite a while and they can't speak good English, it's going to fall on you. So when the school is aware of this, it's a safeguard for you. Now, the thing you want to do, and this last step, it's not something that you are necessarily supposed to commit to. Okay, it's not 100% commit or not. It's basically we're going to try and reach out to parents concerning their child. There are ways you can do that, either through the school or through the classroom teacher or the homeroom teacher, because in most cases, you as their subject teacher cannot necessarily you can't go directly to the parents. So you're going to have to find a way to make sure the parents, first of all, are aware of what is going on with your child. And secondly, you're going to have to make suggestions about what can be done for the kids. You can point out some of the things. First of all, with disrespect, you can say that, okay, your child is disrespectful, this child is necessarily uncontrollably in class, and therefore this and that should be done. If it's something that has to do with, it's sometimes not even disrespect, maybe the child just doesn't pay attention. Okay, probably the child has ADHD, whatever it is. We need to outline some steps that the parents need to go through in order to be helpful to the child. So today we have talked about the bad kids, understanding first of all that, teacher, you cannot do anything by yourself when it comes to these kids. Secondly, you need to kind of outline a form of reporting system to the class teacher, to the school administration, and also find a way to get to the parents. Now, I have to say this, right? In addition, before you go to class and figure out, okay, well, after a long period of time, these bad kids, eventually they start learning some words. They start to figure it out. So why does teacher Williams say they don't learn anything? Yes, this is the issue. If it was that time was not moving and they had all the time in the world to learn everything, then what? Great, that'd be wonderful, right? But then you also need to understand that by the time they have learned those 5 words you taught 7 weeks ago, where do you think the good kids and the middle kids would be by now? Because yes, I do find that in class eventually those words that we're trying to learn, eventually they learn them. But then it's too late. By the time they do that, everyone else has moved on to better things. There's another secret that I'm going to talk about in the next video, because I'm going to talk about the middle class or the middle group as well. And you realize the effect of you, the teacher, trying to push out extra than you're supposed to if you're trying to help some of these kids outside of your boundaries. So we'll talk about that in the next video.